Hey guys, so today we are going to talk about your personality box, and I'm also going to show you how to start building it. So just kind of a little overview of your requirements. You need to have some sort of central theme or design on your whole entire box. So for my box, I chose an office theme. So I have different stuff on this side of my box. I have something else on this side of the box. I don't know if you can see it or not, but I have the logo on this side of the box as well, and also on the other side. And then for my lid, I have a little coffee mug with the coffee coming out of it onto the paper. Okay, so the mug acts as my actual handle for my lid that you have to have. So this is to just kind of show you basically that you have to have a central theme on all four sides of your box and then also on your lid. You do have to make sure that you have some sort of handle to pick your lid up with. And then you need to have at least 3 different colors of glazes on your box. Alright, so once you have decided what kind of theme you want to put onto your box, then you can go ahead and move on to the next part of this video. So the first thing that I need to do before I even get started with any sort of clay is I need to create a template. So I am going to have a 4-inch tall box, and my sides are going to be 7.5 inches long. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my roller and I am going to move down to the bottom here, and I'm just going to place my roller on the end here, and I'm going to measure over to 7.5 inches and put just a little tally mark just like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and come over to the side here and measure up. Just going to measure just kind of like that. I'm going to measure on the side here up here to 4, just like that. And then right at my tally mark as well, I'm going to right at the tally mark, I'm going to measure up to 4 inches and make a little mark right there. And then I'm going to connect this little mark over here with this 4-inch over here. Just draw like a quick line. Now we can see that line. Then I'm going to go ahead and turn my paper and draw a straight line from that 4-inch mark down to where I have that 7.5 marked as well. And I'm going to draw that line right up there. So this is going to be used for the sides of my project, the base of my project, and the lid. Okay, so now that I have that, I can get that cut out, and I'll do that in a little bit. Alright, so now I also need to create my squares for this area of the project. Okay, and that's going to be a 4x4 inch square. So I'm going to grab my other little piece of paper, and I like to start down here at the bottom. Gonna make sure that's all level down here, just like this, and I'm gonna measure over to 4, just like this. And then right where that tally mark is, I'm going to go ahead and lay my ruler right next to it. Make sure this, the edge of the ruler is lined up with the edge of the paper. And I'm now going to measure up to 4 again, just like that. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move my paper and my ruler over to the edge. and I'm going to make sure everything's lined up down there at the bottom. Once again, measure up to 4 inches and make another tally mark. Alright, now I'm going to connect these. So I'm going to connect this 4-inch to this other 4-inch right there. And then I'm going to once again kind of move my paper around a little bit and connect that 4-inch over to the 4-inch at the bottom of this. Just like that. Now I have my square. Okay, so this I'm going to cut out along with my rectangle piece, and I will be right back. 4 rectangle pieces to cut out of our clay. And we're only going to have 2 square pieces because we have this square piece on the end and this other square piece on the end as well. So we only need 2 pieces of these squares. Okay, so now that we have our templates cut out, we can now go to the slab roller and roll out a really large slab of clay. This is probably going to, you are definitely going to be rolling out a couple different slabs in order to get all of your pieces, so that's fine. But I would roll out as big of a slab as you possibly can to get the most pieces out of that slab. Hey guys, so I'm going to show you how to begin to construct your personality box. So I have all of my pieces cut out of clay, and what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to bevel some of the sides of our pieces in order to place them together. So we're going to start with our base. Our base, we are going to have to bevel all 4 sides of our rectangle, okay? And when I say bevel, I mean that we're going to use this bevel cutter. These are in my room. And what we're going to do is we're going to use this side right here. It says SB on the side that you're going to use. And what you're going to do is you're going to take this and place it flat right up against the edge that you plan to bevel. So just to give you an idea, I have my bevel, the wood part of my bevel right up against my clay, and this wire is going to bevel that piece. All you're going to do is just keep that wood side flat up against that slab of clay, and you're just going to pull this right towards you just like this, and now we have a beveled side. Okay, so we are going to bevel all 4 sides of our base just like this. So that we can attach on our sides and our ends. Now these little strips that you have beveled off of your slab, you want to keep these because these are going to be really helpful for building later. So we want to go ahead and set those off to the side. So now we have our base, and like I said, for our base we want to bevel all 4 sides of our base. Alright, so moving on to the actual sides and ends of our piece. So I'm going to start with my 2 rectangular sides right here, and all we're gonna have to do is bevel 3 sides of this because we want to keep the top part nice and flat where our lid is going to sit. So I'm just going to bevel the 3 sides. Like I said, keep that wood side of the bevel right up against the clay and pull it towards you, and then keep these little scraps just like this. And I'm going to bevel one more side. And like I said, I'm only beveling 3 sides, and then I'm going to keep this top side nice and flat. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and bevel my other side rectangle, and I will be right back. So just like I beveled my rectangular sides, I'm now going to bevel my square ends, and I'm only going to bevel 3 sides of the squares. So once again, I'm going to use my bevel cutter, push that wood part of the bevel right up against the clay, pull it towards myself, and put that little scrap piece off to the side. Like I said before, we're only beveling 3 sides because we want that that top edge to be nice and flat where our lid is going to sit. Okay, so I have one of my ends beveled. I'm going to go ahead and bevel my second end, and I will be right back. Now that I have all of my sides and my ends and my base beveled, I am now going to begin to construct my box. So I'm going to start with one of my rectangular sides, and as always, we have to slip and score, or slip and wet the area. So I'm going to take my finishing tool, and where I beveled, I'm just going to go ahead and score those areas just like this. You want to make sure that you score in one direction and then go back and score in the other direction. Okay, so I'm going to take this rectangular side and I am going to attach it onto this area of my clay. And as you notice, I also just scored all 3 sides. That's just going to make it easier for you whenever you go to build and attach like your ends to this rectangular side. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to just score all 4 sides right now at this moment, just so it's all done and it's ready to go. Like I said, one direction and then go the other direction, just like this. And now I'm going to take, I have my little water cup right here, as you can see, and I'm going to take some water and I'm going to just add that water onto the area that I've just scored and the area where I plan for this rectangular piece to be attached. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to place those 2 beveled sides together. As you can see here, this is what it's going to look like. I'm only moving this just so that you can see a little bit better how these 2 pieces go together. As you can see, I'm just kind of pushing those 2 slabs together so that those score marks attach to each other, and then I'm just going to take my finger and smooth over that edge a little bit and then bring it back down to here. Just to give you an idea of what this looks like on the inside, it's still a little bit coming apart. This is where these pieces right here that we beveled off are going to come into play. So what you can do is just score that beveled piece that you are going to attach and add some water, score this inside area, and now what I'm going to do is just take this beveled piece and I'm going to lay it right on the inside just like this. Now it kind of overhangs right here, so I'm going to just kind of pull that off with my fingers a little bit, and I'm going to take my wooden knife, dip it in the water a little bit, and then come in here and just push those clay pieces together just like this. This is going to make sure that this wall doesn't fall over. It's going to keep it nice and sturdy, and it's going to give a more finished look on the inside of your box. So just like this. Okay, we'll worry about finishing up like the smoothness on the inside later on, but that is how you attach one of your rectangular pieces. Now I'm gonna go ahead and attach one of my square ends as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and score. I'm going to score all 3 of my sides because it's just going to make it easier on me. And then once again with my water cup, add some water to those areas that have been scored. And then I'm going to go ahead and attach my square side right to here. And I'm just going to push all of those pieces together, just like this. It's gonna look a little bit messy. That's okay. You can refine it later. Don't get too caught up in what it looks like right now, because we can always go back and make it look a lot better with like our sponge and some water. Okay? So, for right now it does look a little bit rough, but now that we have that attached on there, we're going to do the same exact thing, but we're also going to place one of these not only on the bottom, just like this, but we are also going to take one of these beveled edges and we are going to place it in this little corner, just like that, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I will be right back. Alright, so now I have all of those seams pretty much gone over with those little beveled pieces. I do have this one little piece that's sticking up at the top. All you have to do is you can either take your finger or you can take your finishing tool, and you can literally just cut that right off and then smooth that over with your finger and some water, just like this. Okay? So this is how you are going to attach the rest of your pieces onto your box. I only have 2 pieces left to attach, so I'm gonna go ahead and attach those and put in my little beveled pieces to close up these seams, and then I will be right back. Before you smooth out your project, what you can do, if you're having trouble getting areas level, like the top, or even if you want to make your edges of your box just a little bit more prominent, you can take one of these wooden paddles and kind of just give it a nice little like tap on the top to even everything out. And then what you can also do on the sides is you can kind of smack the sides just a little bit to create a nice sharp edge. So as you can see, that's starting to look a lot better, and I'm just switching sides from the end to the side, and so now that looks a lot more cleaner compared to that. So these wooden paddles are really nice for kind of just leveling out and making nice sharper edges, just like this. Okay? So now that I have all 4 sides onto my personality box, what I'm going to do is just take a sponge and some water and go ahead and smooth out the inside a little bit and just make it look really nice and clean, smooth. One thing you want to make sure that you do not do is you don't want to let any water puddle up and on the bottom of your box, because what will happen is the water will soak into the clay and your base will become really weak and it can possibly crumble if there's too much water. So just give it a nice little sponge bath, clean everything up, clean up your seams. Using your wooden knife is really going to help. It's probably one of my favorite tools, but that really cleans up these seams really nicely, and then taking the sponge over top of it whenever you're finished to just give it a really smooth look. The next thing we're going to do is we are going to talk about your lid a little bit. What you need to do for on the inside of your lid is you need to cut out a smaller rectangle to place just like this. This goes on the inside of your lid. That way your lid doesn't slide off the top of your box. This will catch it. You can create a template for this rectangle, or you can just cut your own, but you need to make sure that it is at least this big. You can get away with making it just a little bit bigger, but you don't want to make it too small. All we're going to do is we are just going to slip and score this on. And the one thing that I have noticed in doing this project with students before is that whenever you attach this on, you have to make sure that you push this down so that it's nice and flush against the bottom of your lid. What has happened in the past is students have put these on the inside of their lid, and I don't think that they pushed them down and removed all of the air pockets in there, because they literally just blow off in the kiln. So you want to make sure that you take, and even if you want to take your wooden knife and kind of just go over it and push down a little bit, take your fingers and just push down, but you have to push all of the air pockets out of there. That way it is okay whenever it dries and goes into the kiln. And then your final step, of course, after doing that, is taking and smoothing over your lid, just to make sure that it's nice and smooth and ready to be finished and put into the back room. After you have that bottom smoothed out, what I like to do is I like to place it on the top of my box, and as you can see, like over here, those edges weren't lining up, so you can just take and kind of push that up against your lid so that your lid fits on there really nice. So that's kind of one of the final steps that you want to do. And then of course you'll start adding all of your decorations onto the side. It's amazing how your box will go from just this plain slab built piece to something decorative just like this. And you guys will be able to make something really cool. I look forward to your ideas. Now that you know how to build your slab box, you guys are good to go. And then don't forget that you need to add decorations and little clay sculptures onto all four sides of your box, and also a handle for the lid of your box. Alright, I look forward to seeing what you guys create. Bye!